We see so much sickness, and the reason is because we live in a sick system. And when I say sickness, I don't just mean physical, although there's a lot of physical illness, a lot of chronic diseases that a lot of people deal with. But I'm talking about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We live in a very sick society. And when you really look at the history and understand how these systems were built and by what type of people and what type of ideas that these systems were built, it becomes very clear why we are so sick. So thinking about the history that led us to here, that history was filled with a lot of cultural ideas and acts that were very domineering, that were honestly psychopathic, narcissistic, violent. There was killing, there was enslaving of people. And through all that as well, there's also a lot of domination of life and domination of nature, and specifically in destroying life and destroying nature, or trying to control life and control nature. And you see that in relation to humans as well, with killing and war and slavery and all the things that have happened leading up to this point and creating the system that it is, which this system, me being in America, it came from people coming over, and slowly over time, these outside forces began taking over the land, taking advantage of the land, taking advantage of the animals, killing the native people who were here, taking over their land, and just slowly domineering and dominating over time. And so when the systems that we find ourselves within come from a place of that type of sickness and narcissism and domination and psychopathy, honestly, why would we expect the economies and the politics and the way of life of these types of systems to be anything but reflect where it came from, the origins of where it came from? I don't think that we should be surprised whatsoever. And so we wonder why we are sick. And I think the biggest sickness stems from really disconnection. Disconnection from ourselves, disconnection from nature, disconnection from our natures. And so as we live in this society, so many are disconnected from their inner spirits, and this society almost creates that disconnection as a consequence of what created it and how it is and how it operates and functions. It almost disconnects humans from their souls. It disconnects humans from their inner selves, from their spirits. Because I think back in the past and even now, if we had a lot of people in this society and we took a lot of people and went out into nature and spent a lot of time in nature and communally, and we just cooked food and we looked up at the stars and we talked about life, the things that humans have done for most of history, and just had slow, simple life, and did that for even just a few weeks or a few months, I think people would feel completely different. I think people would be healthier spiritually, absolutely, but they would be healthier mentally, they would be healthier physically, emotionally. And I think the biggest thing is that people would feel connected. They would feel more connected to their spirit and their soul, to nature, to the God within them, the God that is around us, that surrounds us in this universe, on this planet, the life that surrounds us. And I think people would heal. I think there would be dramatic healing. And all these things that other people may think about with money or things or cars or houses or fame or status, or all these things that we get so caught up in this modern society that we live in, I really think that those things would fall away for those people, as they've fallen away for me over time, because it's just, you recognize that all that glitters is not gold, and that these things that are being sold to you, the value there is not really the value that's being sold. And that what's the point in having these things or pursuing these things if we aren't connected, right? If we aren't connected to ourselves, connected to our spirits, if we aren't truly happy, deeply connected and happy and healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But with the society that we have and how it's been built up and where we find ourselves right now, there is a lot of sickness, and there's going to continue to be a lot of sickness until we address the core issues, which I think is the spiritual disconnect. We have a spiritual disconnect across this society and many, many people, and we are valuing just the wrong things. We're focused on the wrong things. There's so much negativity as well. And I think this is something that people are recognizing and people are waking up to. More and more people are dissatisfied. More and more people are just getting this scratch, this intuitive feeling that like, this isn't it. This isn't where I'm meant to be. This isn't making me happy. This isn't making other people happy. So many people are sick. Like, the system, it just doesn't seem to make sense. Like, what is going on? And I think as more and more people challenge that and more people say that and express that, I think a lot of people are afraid to express that because you're challenging what is, right? And it's scary to consider something new, right? It's challenging to consider something new. It's not going to be easy if we're going to try and implement something new. Change is always hard. You know that. Anyone knows that. Just changing yourself, just one person, is hard. And I think that's where it's going to begin. And I think it already has begun, and that's where it's going to continue, is each individual, just like myself, starting to sit with themselves more, starting to look at the reality for what it is, starting to consider something different, and starting to consider other ideas, and recognizing that this system has been built the way it's been built and is primarily ran off of these ideas that I was talking about before. Violence, domination, psychopathy, honestly, just negativity, a very negative, disconnected kind of ideology, disconnecting from nature, not valuing nature, not valuing the simple things in life. And so as we move forward, I think it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be a struggle. There's going to be a lot of pain. But I do have hope. And I feel that people are more and more figuring it out, more and more seeing the reality for what it is, and understanding that there are better ways to live. Because what's the point in all these things if at the end of the day we're not sitting with ourselves and we don't know ourselves, we're disconnected from ourselves, we don't have nature to enjoy and appreciate, and we're destroying nature and this planet that supports us, not only supports all this other life as well, but supports us. And that if we're living in this destructive, violent, consuming system, it's going to be all consuming at some point, and all includes us humans. We will be consumed at some point by this. And so this is where the sickness stems from, and a lot of us have just been born into it. We don't know any different, and that's why it's scary, because the unknown is scary. The unknown is always scary. But I believe in change. I believe in humanity. I believe in good. I believe in love, and I believe that there's a lot of people who want the same and just want to be connected and want to be at peace and want to have people they can rely upon, and they don't want to be sick anymore. And so that's the origin of our sickness. There are reasons why we have so much sickness. It is not out of nothing. It does not come from nowhere. There are causes for all of these things. And I'm going to try and help people as best as I can. I want to alleviate suffering as best as I can. So I'm going to do that. And I hope others will join me. I hope you will join me. I hope that you want to be happy and healthy and connected deeply to your core spirit and help others do the same. And as we do that, we can connect more and more people and hopefully push for more changes down the line in bigger ways, so that these systems are more conducive to helping people be healthy in all ways, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and especially spiritually. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, like the video. If you're interested in sticking around, consider subscribing. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things, and I'm just going to be trying to help people to alleviate suffering, to create community, and hopefully create a bigger movement over time so we can move towards a better place all together as one. So thank you for watching.